Alright, people, welcome to Afro Narrative and consider subscribing. And I am Mike Weistalga.
In life, we often play games, sometimes willingly, sometimes out of desperation, and other times for reasons we can't fully explain. I was a pawn in one such game, though perhaps by the end, I became something more, an unexpected player in a twisted tale of loyalty, deception and love. She was my girlfriend, beautiful and cunning, and to most people, we looked like the perfect couple. But behind the facade, there was a scheme brewing, one that will test the very fabric of our relationships. Her best friend from university, the woman who had been by her side through thick and thin, was our target. She was successful, single, and, according to my girlfriend, too good to be alone. And so, the plan was hatched. I was to make her fall for me, draw her into a web of deceit, the user. It was supposed to be easy. After all, who could resist a handsome, attentive man? I was confident, and so was she, my girlfriend, who watched from the shadows, whispering instructions, guiding my every move. At first, it went as planned. Her friend was kind, trusting, and soon enough, she was enamored with me. But something happened. Something that neither of us could have anticipated. I found myself falling for her. It wasn't just about the thrill of the chase anymore. It was about her, the woman who was everything my girlfriend wasn't. Genuine, selfless, and warm. The shift was subtle at first. I began spending more time with her, not out of obligation, but out of a desire I hadn't felt in a long time. My girlfriend, who had orchestrated the entire plot, started to notice the change. Her jealousy grew, her control tightened, and soon, the lines between the game and reality blurred. She had created a monster, one she could no longer tame. The more she clung to me, the more I wanted to break free. The plan had backfired spectacularly. I didn't want to be with the woman who had used me as a tool for her own twisted amusement. I wanted the woman who had unwittingly stolen my heart, the woman who had given me a glimpse of what love could be, free from manipulation and deceit. And so, I made a choice. I cut ties with my girlfriend, severing the strings she had tied to me so tightly. But as I did, I couldn't help but wonder, who was more evil in this twisted tale? Was it me, the boyfriend who had betrayed the one who trusted him? Or was it her, the mastermind who had set this tragedy in motion? In the end, perhaps we were all tainted, each of us playing out part in a story that was bound to end in heartbreak. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that in games like these, no one truly wins. We all lose a piece of ourselves, left to wonder who we really are when the masks come off. As I walked away from her that night, I felt a strange mix of liberation and fear. The rain was pouring, each drop like a nail in the coffin of what was once our relationship. My girlfriend, no, my ex-girlfriend, stood in the shadows, silent, her eyes burning into my back as I disappeared into the night. But even as I left her behind, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The game was over, or so I thought. Little did I know, it was only just beginning. Days turned into weeks, and I grew closer to the woman I now truly loved. The woman who was never supposed to be anything more than a pawn. We spent our time together, laughing, talking about our dreams, planning for a future that felt so much brighter than the dark web of lies I had been caught in. I was ready to start over, to leave the past behind, but the past wasn't done with me. It started with the small things, anonymous texts, at first sent at odd hours of the night. They were cryptic phrases like, "You think it's over," and "You can't hide from what you've done." I dismissed them, assuming they were some kind of sick joke. After all, who would have reason to threaten me? My ex-girlfriend was devastated, sure, but she wasn't the type to play mind games, or so I thought. One evening as I was driving home after spending the day with her, my love, I noticed a car following me. At first, I told myself I was being paranoid, but when the car continued to tail me through 3 turns, my nerves began to fray. I sped up, taking unexpected turns, trying to lose the vehicle in the labyrinth of city streets. But no matter how fast I drove, it was always there, just a few car lengths behind, like a shadow I couldn't escape. When I finally pulled into my driveway, the car stopped at the end of the street, its headlights glaring in the darkness before it slowly drove away. I was shaking as I entered the house, every instinct screaming that something was horribly wrong, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her. Not yet. I didn't want to worry her, drag her into the mess that I thought I'd left behind. The next morning, I found a note on my windshield. It was written in the same hand as the text. Sharp, slanted letters that seemed to cut into the paper. Did you think I wouldn't find out? It read. My blood ran cold. I hadn't told anyone about what had happened, how I had left my ex-girlfriend, how I had betrayed her, but someone knew. Someone was watching. I couldn't shake the feeling that my ex-girlfriend was behind this, that she had somehow discovered the truth and was now toying with me, making me pay for breaking free from her grasp. But as the days went on, the texts became more personal, more sinister. They mentioned things only she and I could have known. Private moments, secrets I had shared only with her. But there was something else, something that made my heart stop whenever I read them. The text didn't just threaten me, they threatened her, the woman I now loved. Whoever was behind this wasn't just after me, they were after her too. They knew everything, and they were going to use it against me. I couldn't let that happen. I wouldn't let that happen. But as I tried to confront my ex-girlfriend, she denied everything, her eyes wide with fear, claiming she had no idea what I was talking about. And for the first time, I believed her. The fear in her eyes was too real, too raw to be a lie. But if it wasn't her, then who was it? The answer came one night in the form of a phone call that shattered everything I thought I knew. It was late, and I had just drifted off to sleep when the phone rang. Grudgingly, I answered, expecting to hear a voice on the other end, but instead, there was only silence followed by a distorted mechanical voice that made my blood turn to ice. "You played the game well," it said, "but you never understood the rules. Now it's time to pay." Before I could respond, the line went dead, leaving me in the dark, heart pounding, mind racing. Someone was out there, someone who knew everything, who had been watching from the beginning. They had been pulling the strings all along, letting us believe we were in control, only to reveal that we were nothing more than pieces in a game far more twisted than we had ever imagined. And now, the game had changed. It was no longer about love or betrayal. It was about survival. As the shadows closed in around us, I knew one thing for certain. We were no longer the players. We were the prey.